Hi, welcome to our webinar and thank you for joining us today. We have a lot of valuable information that we're looking forward to sharing with you. Our webinar today focuses on supercharging your sales and acquisition strategies in 2023 and beyond. It's brought to you by our sales team at DealerVantage. Linda Foley is our Assistant Vice President for Sales, and Brian O'Reilly is the Executive Director of our Automotive and Retail Division. Both of their contact information is up on the screen, but we'll also follow up with an email and provide it to you in written form, just so it's a little bit easier. And my name is Andrea Vinci. I'm the Director of Internal Communications here at Itswip Technologies, the parent company of DealerVantage. I'll be talking to you today about some of the research that we've done, the trends that we found, and our advice to optimize your sales in 2023 to win and beyond. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. If you are a used car sales manager, you know that optimizing the acquisition of used vehicles is key to maximizing your profits and reducing your overall costs. Today, we're going to look at some trends in the automobile industry, how to optimize your used vehicle acquisition strategy, diversifying and future-proofing inventory with electric vehicles, and ways to win more private party acquisitions. So we started to compile a little bit of research for you to help you understand all of the trends that are currently going on in the car industry. So according to JP Morgan, US consumers forked out an average of $45,622 for a new vehicle in September of 2022. This was actually up $3,462 compared with just the previous year. And it's also the fourth highest price of any month ever on record. So Ryan Brinkman, the lead automotive equity analyst at JP Morgan, says they estimate that half of the increase in new vehicle prices actually relates to the passing along of the higher input costs, including the raw material costs. So rising costs coupled with shortages and long line delivery time for your new vehicles leads to an increased demand for used vehicles. Consumers are looking for other options. This then creates competition in finding these used vehicles. It's key that you need cars on your lot and ready to sell. We've also found through our research that this trend is not ending anytime soon. So though it may be down from all-time highs that we saw in 2021, it is still incredibly high and incredibly important for you to stock your used car inventory. So according to an IMARC study, the global used car market is expected to exhibit a growth rate of 9.1%, and that's 2023 straight through to 2028. So despite vehicle prices falling, we're hearing research about declining year-over-year demand. Acquisitions are still up 37% based off of baselines taken in November 2019, pre-pandemic, by the ADESA. In short, the used car market boost is still in full effect. So where does this leave car dealers? Well, demand is normalizing. Pre-owned vehicle prices are falling. Prices are still elevated. Inventory is becoming unbalanced, and all costs remain high due to inflation. So with this reality in mind, dealers need to adapt to changing markets quickly and stay competitive and continue to grow profits in the coming years. How can you do this? Our Garage Share data service product can be a simple solution for you. We provide valuable insights into all the vehicles in your existing customer's household. This can provide you with ideas of new ways to find used vehicle inventory with customers that you've already sold cars to and established relationships with. So you can see here, customers are becoming more and more digital savvy. We've turned to a digital market. We have the SEMrush Google monthly search terms, what people are querying online about how to sell their used cars. This means you want to rethink your strategy to acquire these cars for your own inventory. Consumers now have more information than ever before on what the actual value of their vehicles are. There's more options than ever for the buyers. Once the market begins to normalize, this is going to shrink the profit and margins for error for dealerships when they're evaluating trade-ins and buybacks. Dealerships can leverage data from these existing customers, and that will give you a competitive edge in this environment. Taking the time to build your customer database is very efficient, but then you can use the analytical tools to identify potential trade-in opportunities that are crucial to stay ahead of the curve. Leveraging that existing customer relationship and database with new household data on how to identify potential sales and inventory acquisitions becomes a solid and successful two-part strategy for 2023 and beyond. With GarageShare, you're going to have access to more and better data to help you acquire trade-ins for your inventory. And again, this comes from your existing customers that you've already established relationships with. So going back to the research that we've done, Cox Automotive found that car buyers make decisions based on 5 major emotional components. They want to have chemistry with the buyer. The buyer wants to feel that they are empowered through knowledge. They want to feel confident that they're getting a good deal. They don't want to feel exploited by you. They want to trust you. They want to feel that they have the information that they need, and they want to feel like they have control in an otherwise overwhelming process. What else has the data found? Well, Cox has also told us that 75% of older generation car owners are going to shop about 1 to 3 sources. 30% of Gen Z and millennials are going to look at 4 to 6 options, and 10% of the younger buyers are going to source 7 or more options for their trade-ins. Despite this, Cox found that data indicates that a salesperson's ability to build trust and drive value is still essential to success in digital sales. The key is to foster your existing relationships and build quickly with your new digital channels and your research information tools. So what are the takeaways here? Leveraging existing relationships is key. You want to empower the seller with knowledge throughout the journey. It makes them feel confident. It's essential to focus on the old adage that people want to buy from people. Even in a digital world, this will give your team a clear advantage from other alternatives. These findings are important because they indicate that the old ways of doing business are still relevant even in a digital world. But we need to combine modern strategies in acquisition, targeted marketing, consumer loyalty, and data and process transparency with those old school values of building trust in your dealership. This will help you stand out from the crowd and win more acquisitions and sales opportunities because your customers trust you and they want to come back. So next up today, we're going to talk about the surge in electric vehicles and how they're holding value. So while used vehicle prices are dropping overall, but we said the market is still in a huge boost from them, electric vehicles in particular are at the absolute top of this. So a May 2022 report from IC Cars data showed that while used vehicles overall might be dropping a little bit in year-over-year price, the market is still good. And the cost of electric vehicles, such as the Nissan Leaf, actually rose by an average of $8,000, and that's roughly 40% year-over-year. This news is not just a good sign for electric vehicle owners, but also for the dealerships that sell them. So with more people interested in buying these electric vehicles and fewer coming off lease each month, it then becomes imperative as the market booms that you find new EVs to sell. This trend also is not ending anytime soon. According to JP Morgan report on the future of the automobile industry, by 2025, electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles are going to account for an estimated 30% of all vehicle sales. Comparatively, in 2016, just under 1 million vehicles, just 1% of all global sales came from electric vehicles. So we have a huge upward trend in the sale of electric vehicles, and you need to be prepared for that so that you have them on your lot. Fewer than 1 in 5 electric vehicles that sold in Q3 of 2022 were priced under $25,000, and that's a resale on a vehicle. As the consumer demand grows, competition for acquiring these highly sought after EVs and hybrid EVs is going to be a challenge for dealerships. So focusing on continuing to acquire them and pushing for leases versus sales on electric vehicles is going to be a really important strategy to future-proof the emerging demands and trends coming up in the electric vehicle market. So one creative way that GM has started to build a pipeline for these buybacks and to increase their current revenues is through their service lanes. So according to a recent Motor Trend report, during GM's Investor Day, Mark Roos, the president of GM, pointed out that since 2021, their dealers actually created 11,180 repair orders that had Tesla as the vehicle's make and model. So we can see the huge increase in service and repairs coming in on these electric and hybrid electric vehicles. So when you leverage this data, then dealers can use it to target both service opportunities for their existing customers and possible buyback marketing, focusing on electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles that can come from the same household as previous customers. So you already have these customers in your database, and you can see who else is in the household, what do they own, what could you potentially service, what could you potentially buy back to have on your lot and resell. Electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles, again, I just want to point out, are predicted to make up a third of all vehicles on the road in the coming years. You want to take advantage of this trend, and you want to consider offering lease deals and expanding your service offerings also to include electric vehicles. You can leverage data from your current customers, and you can identify those future trade-in opportunities. Hybrid and electric cars are growing in demand, and this means that we need to focus on acquiring these vehicles. That's going to be key to your dealership success in the future and your ability to give your customers the cars that they're going to want to buy. So basically, gone are the traditional days of relying primarily on trade-ins and auto auctions to source your used car inventory. I want to close with some quick tips on how to optimize your proactive acquisition strategies in 2023 and beyond. Inventories are going to begin to normalize, time to sales are going to increase, and the unprecedented profit margins of 2021 and 2022 inevitably and sadly are going to come back down to earth. So what dealers need to be more careful of is how and what they're sourcing for their used car inventory. This means that third-party instant cash offers are riskier than ever, and that relying on trade-ins and auto auctions could leave you stuck with inventory that you can't efficiently move. Because of this, dealers want to use data-driven acquisition strategies. You want to take a more proactive approach to sourcing your inventory and understanding your inventory and your customers and what they want. Data-driven virtual inventory approaches to sourcing is going to allow you to do just this. You will better understand your customers, you'll improve the quality of the used inventory that you purchase, and you're going to stay competitive in a world where cars are now being not only bought, but researched digitally by your customers. So here's some important things for you to remember moving forward for this. You want to stay ahead of the curve by analyzing data on where and why your inventory is selling fast. You want to know which cars are staying on the lot longer than you ever expected. You want to ensure that you have the right tools and resources to make smart decisions about what vehicles you want to acquire. You want to use the data that you're collecting on performance of your current inventory to make informed decisions about what cars you should buy and also how much money you should spend on them. And you want to ensure that all necessary members of your team have access to this valuable data so they can also make informed decisions about what vehicles to acquire and how much money they should spend on them. Focusing on the tips above and creating smart new channels for private party acquisitions is going to allow dealers to make smart and informed decisions on what vehicles to acquire, how to specifically target those vehicles, and how to have more control over the price and valuation of these specific vehicles. With the market continuing to change, it's important to stay ahead of trends and create new ways of thinking about how people buy cars. You want to make sure your dealership is in the lead with these new initiatives and not scrambling to catch up a few years from now. This can be done by using data to influence your acquisition strategies and also remembering to focus on those electronic and hybrid electronic vehicles because the research is showing that the sales are greatly going to increase in the coming years. Additionally, a well-managed private party acquisition strategy serves to create new sales funnels for your dealership. When you treat those who sell their own cars with respect and professionalism, they're going to trust you more. That translates into future purchases from them and them as future customers, again, repeat customers, new customers in the household for your business. So in conclusion, we want to note that this guide is going to help you to navigate the current market. We want you to better understand how to profit from it, the trends in the used car industry, the rising trends in electronic vehicles, But it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You definitely want to customize to your dealership and your individual customers and needs. You can take what you want from our information and you can go ahead and leave the rest behind. You're also always welcome to reach out to us via email, text, call, etc. And we'll be happy to talk to you about data sharing initiatives, your acquisition strategies, or any other kind of questions that you might have. Thanks again for your time today, and we look forward to working with you in the future.